fastest show in sports.
While we're embarrassing ourselves doing this, do we
I'm not
do
embarrassed.
any of us even know the starting quarterbacks or the head coaches for any of these teams?
I don't care. That's not what this is about. We're not
Oh,
talking
that's
about
right.
stats and
Right.
quarterbacks. There's
That's
more
right.
to it than this. The NFC East, you're up first.
The NFC East, I can tell you right now, Dak Prescott is. I'm kind of rooting for him because I don't know. No, I'm not
Do you
rooting for
feel
the
sorry
Cowboys. I
for
just
him? Is that it? Is that it?
No, I don't. I don't feel sorry for him. I just, yeah, I don't want him to be like Romo, where he never does anything in the postseason. He never. I kind of root for Dak Prescott to go to the next level. I wouldn't be bummed if the Cowboys won it. The Giants, the Giants are feast or famine, and right now they're famine. I think they'll be better. The Eagles, the Eagles are very, if Jalen Carter could not spit on anyone, the Eagles are very close to becoming a repeat Super Bowl champion. They have all the tools. If they stay healthy, they can do it. Shoot, Philadelphia has been on a great sporting run lately, and I just. I'm gonna go for I root for the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. I like that team. The Commanders, it's like I had a love or hate relationship with with that team because it was the team I covered for many years, and a team that I didn't like because Dan Snyder run it. Well, now Josh Harris does, and it's funny, he simultaneously owns the 76ers and the Commanders. I think that Jalen Daniels is a special quarterback. I mean, I think he's the real deal.
Jalen
And
Hurts.
excuse me.
Jalen Hurts.
No, No, I'm talking about the Washington Commanders quarterback.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the Eagles. Okay.
Yeah, we got two Jalen's in the division.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm sorry.
know
Okay.
starting quarterbacks. I don't know if you knew that, Ed.
Yes, I did.
Um, and Dan Quinn's the coach. And I'll just say this. I'll just say this. I root for the Commanders now. I hope that they seem to be getting things right. Um, I like. I want them to win the division. I'd love to see them play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game again. I'd love to see them see if they can take them out. But yeah, I can say that I root for the Commanders to win it. I don't know
Okay.
win it all, but you know.
Okay. That's fair. Now, I cannot root for the Dallas Cowboys ever. I understand this Cowboys fans. And as a matter of fact, a lot of the things that I've talked about with the Cowboys, people agree with. But Dallas, I love Dallas. It's a wonderful place. Look, I mean, Dallas, Fort Worth. I've been to the Fort Worth Stockyards a number of times, been to some of the shows there, had a great time every time I'm in Dallas. But I'm a little bit worried about the people in Dallas and Texas as well, because everything is still shotguns, revolvers, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and some of the nonsense that goes on down there. I mean, I really can't root for the Cowboys right now for those reasons as well. Also, I've never liked the Cowboys since the time of Bob Lilly when he retired. The New York Giants,
Wow.
I have to root against the New York Giants every single day of the week because, and this is a main reason. When I worked at a company called News Sport in the mid 1990s, a sports TV network, we had a guy there whose name was Andy. He was an annoying 5 foot nothing redhead with a red beard and red mustache who every single time he came in, he glorified the Giants. It was the wonder years of the Giants. Everything was the Giants. And I got sick and tired of it. Everything, he'd always come in and tell everybody how great the Giants are, even when they were losing. It was annoying. So because of that, I can no longer I can never root for the New York Giants. The Philadelphia Eagles, I got to root for the Eagles. The Eagles. I mean, come on, I got to pick them in this division
Yeah.
simply because of Philadelphia cheesesteaks. No other reason. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons, but you guys got cheesecakes. You started all that.
Well, there is another reason. My
Well,
brother-in-law, Scott Nagy, one of the great human beings on earth, is a huge Eagles fan. I mean,
okay.
like you can't even. It was my stepmom's birthday last night. My sister and Scott had her over. I don't even think he blew out candles. He was on the couch watching that game, and God bless him. He's a true fan.
God
And
bless
so
him. That's it.
Scott, I Scott Nagy. I root for Scott Nagy, and he roots for the Eagles. So the Eagles, you know, I, 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 I'm going to do a do-over. I want to see the Commanders do well. I don't want to see them beat the Eagles.
Okay. And as far as the Washington Commanders are concerned, from my side, I love Washington, D.C., have a lot of friends there. But I have to root against the Commanders in all senses, because if the Commanders were to win and were to win a Super Bowl, you know who would come out and say, see, it's because I'm here. See, it's because of my leadership. See, it's because I brought it here, and without me, they'd never have it. It's a bigly win. And I just can't have that. America doesn't need that right now. We don't need another distraction here from the big orange. So I have to root against the Commanders for now. When the big orange is gone, I might come back. But for right now, I got to stick with the Eagles in the NFC East.
Well, our president also wants to return the Commanders to their old name, which is a dictionary defined racial slur. So yeah, I'm thinking that, I'm thinking that you're right. He would take credit for them.
Not only would he take credit, but he would say, okay, now that you've won the Super Bowl, it's time to change your name back. And we just can't have that. So we move on from there. All right, next up, the NFC North. I'll go first here. The Chicago Bears I will root for because Chicago has some of the best food in the world. I mean, and every time I've been to Chicago, it's been a great time. I love that Wrigley Field is there, and I love Wrigleyville. I've been there many times and enjoyed it. And not only that, but you have the new TV show, or the show that I can't think of it now. The Chicago TV show that's on Apple TV, The Mule? No, not The Mule. I can't think of it.
The Bear.
The Bear. Thank you. The Bear is a brilliant show. It's a wonderful show.
We may be the most unhip duo ever.
No, it's okay. I just couldn't think about it. But The Bear is a great show. So for that reason, and the fact that Chicago's got great food, I can root for the Bears, despite the fact that the Bears always let down their fans. The Detroit Lions. The only time I have ever been in Detroit in my life was about 1,000,000 years ago, and it was a bombed-out war shelter. It was as bad as Beirut, and that was right near the hockey arena and the baseball stadium. So Detroit, I get it. I mean, certainly the place where my wonderful 1969 Dodge Charger 1,000,000 years ago started its life in Detroit. So I have to hold a little bit of a niceness in my heart for that, but I can't root for Detroit this year. The Green Bay Packers, look, I'll tell you, the Packers got one of the best press boxes in the world because they have home-cooked food in the press box. And the fans there are awesome fans that they love it. So I kind of want to root for the Packers simply because of, again, it's coming down to a culinary issue here with these. By the way, Detroit has no culinary finesse. We'll just get that out of the way right now. But the Packers...
Yeah, they have a good... Greektown is cool.
But
Greektown and Detroit and the Detroit pizza, the square pizza is good.
And not only that, I brought back some cheese from Wisconsin the time I was there. So that's
the curds, the squeaky ones.
But I think I'm going to have to, in this division, I'm going to have to root for the Minnesota Vikings simply because they're the latest team that pissed off a lot of people out there by adding male cheerleaders. So for the fact that they're just another team, they're not the only team. Other teams in the NFL do it too, where they have male cheerleaders. But the fact that they pissed off so many people who said, I'm getting rid of my season tickets now that they have male cheerleaders. Good for the Vikings, baby. Get out there, make a run on America, get them all started talking. So I'll go with the Vikings this year. Mike.
Oh, boy. The Cincinnati Bengals receiver, by the way, on our fact check was, I said Chase Oliver. Jamar Chase. My God. Number one on your program and in your heart.
Number one in your heart.
And the out of this division, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it doesn't really do anything for. Yeah, I like the Lions because they were on the doorstep a year ago. They got upset by the Commanders in the NFC title game. Detroit hasn't had the Lions haven't had a speck of good news for a long time, and they've been on the doorstep for a couple years now. And Jared Goff, he's become a different quarterback in Detroit than he was in LA. So I root for him. I like the Lions. I hope they do it this year. The Vikings, look, they got a great fan base. When the Bears do well, it's good for the NFL because Soldier Field, Chicago. I mean, it just has a history to it. I got to know Brian Piccolo, the running back who died of cancer. Gail Sayers. I got to know his daughter really well in DC, Lori Piccolo, and his youngest daughter, and when Gail Sayers died a few years ago, I actually called her up. I said, "Look, did you know him at all?" And she said, "Yeah." And I go, and I helped her write a first person piece for the Washington Post about, what Gail Sayers meant to her growing up, even though she didn't know her dad growing up because he died. And it was, like it just it put me in touch with like a person who was like I didn't know anything about other than the movie. God, what was the movie called in the '70s? It
Brian
was it
Song.
was a tear. Brian's song, yeah, and it was about Brian Piccolo, who died of cancer, and Gail Sayers was his black roommate, and he was the white running back, and it was sort of this racial harmony thing. Well, that there was a lot that people didn't know about Brian Piccolo as a person. I got to know him through his daughter in death, and I'm thinking, you know what? If the Bears had a great season, I'd love it. I'd
Okay,
love it. The Vikings, yeah, the male cheerleaders, okay. Packers, I don't know. It's everything right with Americana and football. If you ever been to a Packers game,
that's true. It is.
you literally drive up and you can park almost by the stadium. The stadium's surrounded by houses that say, for $10 you can, get a cup of
I love
coffee here
that.
and go use the bathroom. I
It's
mean,
still
but I
neighborhood
love.
football.
Yeah, Vince Lombardi, when pride still mattered, he lived by the stadium. He lived in a little Rambler. It wasn't anything fancy. I mean, they're everything that professional sports should be about. The people own the team, and yet, I'm sick of them. I don't know what it is. I'm sick of them. They got Micah Parsons. I'm just sick. I'm sick of like the wholesome nostalgia. No, you're not the Hoosiers of the NFL anymore. You had the last two quarterbacks that were really great for you were ended up both divas while they were playing for you. Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. I can't stand them both. So screw you, Packers.
There we go. Moving on to the NFC South. Here we go. The Atlanta Falcons, I don't think will win the division, and the reason being is because they're just the Atlanta Falcons. They're a very good team, no doubt about it, but I'm not really a huge fan of Atlanta. I have been there many times. The fact that I think the varsity is still there selling, basically open as a restaurant. That's one reason to root for Atlanta. But I think that the people in Atlanta need to spend more time worrying about the fact that maybe they'll get a hockey team one day and you'll really be a major league franchise. The New Orleans Saints, I have to root for every single time out of the box. Why? Because it's New Orleans. Because there's nothing like the food in New Orleans. There's nothing
Yeah.
nothing like getting a beignet at the end of the day and a cup of coffee. There's nothing like going to all the different restaurants. I love New Orleans. And not only that, but because of the anniversary of Katrina that's here, it would be perfect timing for the New Orleans Saints to
Oh
contend for
yeah.
a Super Bowl and even win a Super Bowl, though it's doubtful. Doubtful, but I'm still going to root for the Saints to
I
get
don't
back
even
on
know
track.
I don't even know who the roster is. But go
Doesn't
ahead.
make a difference. It's food in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's all that counts. Food, New Orleans,
Yeah.
Mardi
You're
Gras,
right.
Jazz Festival, go from there. That makes New Orleans my perennial favorite in the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, look, the fact that Tom Brady wants to retire and wants to go into the Hall of Fame wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers helmet is all wrong to begin with. And I've never really been a Bucs fan because I have a connection to Tampa Bay with a former member of my family who is not a member of my family who is living in Tampa Bay. So therefore, I would like this person to have a really bad year. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I ain't going any farther on that one, but that's about
Wait,
as deep as I can go. And the
wait. Is
Carolina
this a
Panthers,
is
the Carolina
this an ex
Panthers, look, I like
brother-in-law?
Carolina, but the fact is, you're NASCAR. You're not that much
Yeah.
fan, and I don't really have much of a connection to Carolina. So with the NFC South, always every single time, gonna root for the New Orleans Saints, and it's happy to see the people in Tampa Bay suffer just a little bit because you got it. You had Brady. You were with the GOAT for a while. Go away. Next up, go Mike.
Another division I could care less about, other than you're right, New Orleans. I love New Orleans. If anybody's never had a piece of crawfish pie in their life, they haven't lived. And so, or a New Orleans po' boy sandwich with the
Ooh, a
fried
po' boy.
shrimp
Yeah.
and the remoulade, the remoulade sauce, and what? Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. The food there is ridiculous. Carolina's actually got some good barbecue. I'll say that. And
Okay.
Atlanta, I've had some good meals in Atlanta, but and at a couple Southern restaurants, but nothing, other than something in Buckhead, nothing special.
Look, if we made
The
these NFL picks all about gastronomics every single year, it would have to be the Saints winning the Super Bowl.
It would be the Saints win the Super Bowl. If we made these picks about strip bars every year, the Tampa Bay Bucks,
Tampa
they
Bay.
have the yeah,
And do
they
you
have the
remember the
they have
name
the
of the famous
Mons.
strip bar there?
I believe it was the Mons Venus.
Mons Venus. Exactly right. Every
Yeah,
time you
which
go to the
which
Super
rhymes
Bowl a long time
with
ago.
which shockingly rhymes with man's penis. My God.
Shockingly, and of course, that's where we're going to stop and move on to the next one. To the NFC West. Go ahead, Mike. You get first shot at the NFC West.
Well, I grew up a San Francisco 49ers fan, having been born in Napa, California. Remember my grandfather yelling at his AC Delco radio in the backyard when John Brody threw an interception. I remember Gene Washington, one of my favorite receivers of all time. I used to wear number 18 because I wanted to be Gene Washington. Everything about the 49ers. And then when they got Montana and I was in college, oh my God, the years, the still, to me, the greatest NFL team ever, wasn't the 72 Dolphins or whatever, the unbeaten teams. I think it's the 84 Niners. They were like, they lost one game. They had every defender you could imagine that went to the Hall of Fame, every receiver, everything, and they beat Marino's Dolphins and the one time he went to the Super Bowl. But either
Yep, I
way,
was there. I was
now
there.
they but now their coach is Kyle Shanahan. I got to know Kyle a little bit in DC. He's the most conniving, like he's bad. He's as bad as his dad. I can't stand Kyle. I root for his demise, and so I hope that Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy has an awful season and he's intercepted 20 times and Kyle gets fired. That would mean the world to me. The Rams I kind of like because Sean McVay's the coach. And I like Matt Stafford. They won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, or about 3 or 4 now. But I like the Rams. Not that I necessarily have any of affection for anybody else on their roster, but yeah, Sean McVay seems like a decent human being, and knew him a little bit. I'll root for them. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
root for them. And the Cardinals. I mean, it's God. The Cardinals. You're right. It's like NFL purgatory. Like what happened since Kurt Warner took them to the
Pretty
Super
much.
Bowl once? Like what? Like now, I do like their quarterback, Kyler Murray. He's fun to watch, and when he's healthy, he's very good. But I don't know. I just see them as a middling team. 10 wins at the most, and an early first round playoff loss. The Seattle Seahawks. I God, Seattle's such a great town. It's noisy. It's the 12th man is real. I love the stadium. I love the whole environment. Nothing like Pike's Market and flying salmon thrown across the. It's just there's so many good things to say about Seattle, but I don't know. Another team I'm kind of. I don't. I have no connection with them. I don't even know who their quarterback is. Geno Smith. Who knows? Who cares?
Now, I will occasionally root for the LA Rams because, as a member of the Screen Actors Guild, I have been there to work sometimes in movies and films. And because that's where my community is, where my friends are who are in the entertainment community. However, you do have the gaudiest stadium in the history of mankind. So I think go ahead and enjoy the stadium. It's overpriced food. And by the way, there really is no culinary greatness to Los Angeles. It's kind of like show up and buy an
No.
overpriced hot dog and a beer. So I think that for the Rams this year, you may have to wait another year. The Arizona Cardinals, what a shame. I mean, Phoenix is a nice city. I've been there recently, enjoyed it. It's 572,000 degrees in the shade, but of course the humidity is 2%, which makes everything so much better. Phoenix in Arizona, it's nice, but it's look when the biggest tourist attraction you have is going to the OK Corral, and having to drive down there. I mean, you got to worry
Like,
about
yeah, it takes a while to get to Tombstone.
it takes a while to get to Tombstone. It's like 3 hours away, I think, at this point. And I know there's a lot of great areas up north, but Arizona, I've never really had a great affection for. I had a girlfriend there back about 457 years ago. God bless her. But when I go into Phoenix, I just look at Camelback Mountain, and that's it. San Francisco 49ers. Greatest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. Was there this year for Lady Shannon's birthday. Had an amazing time. Great
Uh-huh.
food. Wonderful time in Napa. I mean, I love it. The fact that in San Francisco, but the problem with it is their stadium's not in San Francisco. It's like, what, 300
In
miles
Santa
out of the
Clara.
city? It's in Santa Clara. So I root for the city, but because you guys are no longer in San Francisco, I love the city. I love it, but I'm going to have to say no to San Francisco this year. I will say, and I think my pick this year is going to be a shock pick. I think Seattle's going to take the division. Why? The fish market that's there, the great people that are there, the wonderful water sports that are there, the wonderful, just it's amazing. I love Seattle, and not only that, you got the best wines anywhere. Washington State wines are better than California wines, so I got to pick the Seattle Seahawks this year.
Oh my God, that's as bad as Ryan Clark's comment about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning not being generational talents, which he said recently. Napa
Look,
wines
Mike, we didn't
are
say that any of this was going to be logical.
all right. Okay, but I'm saying Napa wines versus Seattle. I mean,
Oh, Washington
you
State wines are the best. The
I
best.
mean, you're looking at Boone's Farm versus, my God, Mondavi. Come on, let's go.
Have you? That is not booze. Have you ever had a good Washington State wine?
Yeah. I've had a Grigio. That's not bad there. I've had a nice
Agreed.
white
Go
wine
with the
there.
Reds, man. Go with the Hawk Crest Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
Magnificent.
That's all, folks.